Let's do a division where the dividend is in the it's a 4-digit number divided by a 1-digit divisor of 4. So I've talked to several of you, and we've talked about it as a class, that one thing that you can do is go ahead and write your 4s by skip counting over here to the side. So we could say 4, 8, 12. Remember, if you struggle to count by 4s, you can use that touch counting and say 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. And really that's as far as we would need to go for dividing, because that gets us up to 9, and you don't ever need to use 10 for this. So our first question is going to be looking at this 3 in the thousands place. So our first question is, can 4 go into 3? Can I take 4 away from 3? Now if you're looking according to your place value, you're basically saying, can I take 4,000 away from 3,000? And in this case, we cannot do that, all right? So remember that we started this chant last week in class to help us remember. So we say, divide on the top, multiply underneath, subtract to see what's left, bring it down and repeat. So I want to talk about these steps as we go. Now, it's either bring it down and repeat, or you may even be at a spot of saying, or, and our problem is complete. Okay, so these are going to be our steps. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now, so we cannot divide on the top right here. So we're going to put an X. I always just put an X there because now I'm ready to answer whatever is going to be there available in my hundreds place. So now instead of looking at 3, I look at 38. And now I'm going to ask, how many times will 4 go into 38? 4 will go into 38. I'm going to look over here on the side, and I see that I can get all the way up to this 36 without going over, okay? And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 times 4. So divide on the top, multiply underneath. I did my 9 times 4. Subtract to see what's left. Bring it down and repeat. Now remember, here's something that I have seen go wrong a couple times. So 1, some of you are bringing down the next number and you're moving it further over, so you're getting confused by what place value you're currently in. Another thing I'm seeing is if you're bringing down the next number, some of you have tried to bring it down underneath, like for instance this 2, to try to subtract, and you can't do that. You are moving by place value. Our thousands didn't work, so now we're looking at our hundreds place. So we did have a 900 in our quotient. Okay, now we need to know how many tens is going to be in our quotient. So we're going to say 4 will go into 25 how many times? If I look at my list, I can get all the way up to this 24 without going over, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4 times 6. Divide on the top, multiply underneath, subtract to see what's left, bring it down and repeat. So now we're done with the tens place, and we're looking at 13 ones. How many times will 4 go into 13? Well, if I look at my list, I see that there's a 12 here, and so I know that 3 4s divide on the top, multiply underneath, subtract to see what's left, and our problem is complete because I don't have anything else that I can bring down. So I am done here. That is one way that you can work on your long division using these steps. I know that most people are familiar the most with our long division. I have seen many of you really enjoy the partial product side of this, which I think is great. And the only thing you're doing with partial product is saying that this is not subtracting 36. We're subtracting 3,600. This is not subtracting 24. This is subtracting 240. And then we subtract that 12. So I've seen a lot of you do that. Now, do keep in mind, as we get close to the test, there's not going to be a lot of questions about the area model, but I do want to include this in there, that if you have an area model and they say, oh, let's show me what the answer to this would be using an area model, go ahead and do it the normal way. But then look at all of your numbers that you're subtracting, okay? So my 4 is going to go here no matter what. The first number that I'm going to put in my area model is 3,600. Okay, because remember I said we're actually subtracting 3,600s or 3,600. And I know that that's going to be what my quotient is on the top of 900 for that place value. Okay, the next one I'm going to subtract is 240. I'm going to plug that number in here as my next box. And that's going to be 60. 60 times 4 is 240. The last one I'm going to put in there is a 12. And I know that that 3 ones is going to be 3 times 4 is 12. And when you have a remainder on an area model, since area is really talking about square units, we're just looking to say, oh, over here we would have a remainder of 1. Okay? This would be how you would demonstrate your your area model. Partial products would be saying that 3,600 equals 4 times 900. That was one partial quotient that we got to. We had 240 subtracted out of our equation, and that would be 4 times 60. And then we had the 12, equals 3 times 4. And that got us to that technically should be 4 times 3. I try to keep those divisors first. So this is just the partial quotient. It shows it here. All of these connect, okay? But anytime it just tells you to divide or find a quotient for, you can do it long division. I'm fine with that. There are going to be a couple of questions on the test that just ask you to kind of demonstrate where we're at with our partial products and our area models. That's not a big deal. I know, and if a parent is watching this, we do some of the kids, and I gave this as an option, like to use the box method. That's really not anything. It's not the area model. It's just set up like long division, but horizontally. So instead of, let me make sure I do this where I'm supposed to do it. Okay, so I would have a 3 here, an 8 here, a 5 here, and I didn't really space that out very well, but that's okay, and a 3. So it's set up with the same dividend, just in a box. So we would say 4 won't go into 3, so I'm going to move it, not anything down, I'm going to move this over. And then we would say 4 would go into 38, and then we would say 9 times 4 is 36, and this is just a repeat of what we've already done. Once we get here, we don't bring anything down, we bring it over. 4 will go into 25. 4 will go into 25 6 times. 6 times 4 is 24, and again, instead of bringing anything down, we just bring it over. And then we get that 3, subtract 12, and we have our remainder of 1. So if your child is trying to do this, this is what that is, okay? And some just see it better that way, and a lot of the reason would be they're not lining up their place values as they work the long division, so they start skipping place value answers or missing a number that they're supposed to be bringing down. So hopefully this clarifies some. We will have a test on this within the week. It'll be next Tuesday, so just please make sure that there's practice going on. Doesn't have to be anything that takes hours, but I do think that these steps are going to be really important for students to be able to succeed on that unit test as we approach it. We will get the study guide out to you this week, and I will do another video on that. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be glad to help.